We're back, Laura.
Here
I'm
we
back.
are.
You were back last week.
The week before. Last week we were at communion.
How could I not remember? I was there.
It's been a long week.
It's been a long week. Lots of interesting stuff for a memoir someday.
Yeah.
But you were back 2 weeks ago. Great job. I was, on the struggle bus in Florida. I didn't get to say sunny Florida because it was not sunny
No,
the whole time there. Did not see the sunshine at all. But it was nice out. I ran outside 3 days in shorts and a t-shirt.
Very good.
And then came
Hey, I
back.
see we're having some troubles on Facebook.
Oh, all right.
Sorry. You have to fix that because I don't know how to do that. So
yeah, I don't I'm going in and I'm
there. Nope. Now they went away altogether.
yeah, now I'm gonna add it back.
Okay. Thank you. I need to learn how to do that.
Yeah, you just click the little arrow.
Okay.
All right. Facebook. We're now live.
We're now live with Facebook.
We are gonna do what are we gonna do today, Laura? Wait.
Today we are gonna go through our ministry review. It's like a little teaser because the ministry review doesn't actually come out for a couple more weeks.
Yep.
But we thought we'd give everybody a little sneak peek. We usually try to do this sort of early on every year. We talk through some of the highlights from the year before. So that's what we're doing tonight.
Yeah. So if you're new to Gateway, Ministry and Review is that looking back at the previous year of highlights from ministry. Before we get to that, Laura, any upcoming events that you would want to share? Let's see who gets the most results today.
Well. Yeah, I'm not really sure because we're talking about the same thing. So you did a great job in your sermon today talking about membership and kind of making a little plug for the membership class that's coming up starting February 19th is the first class. The registration closes February 8th, though, because there is some work that needs to be done before the first class. So the registration is a little over a week before that first class starts. But I told you when I came in tonight, we had over 20 people that just registered today after your sermon. So good job on that.
And
but
you said
we're not one of those people. Just another reminder that that's coming up. And it's kind of, our class is kind of going through a refresh right now. We're updating some things. We had some videos that we've been using for a really long time. So we are updating those using some different materials and things like that. So looking forward to that.
In the old videos, my hair was long, Sean's hair was long, Ed's hair was short. Now he's cut his hair again, maybe after filming his latest ones. So that's fun. And you also said, I know that's not what you're talking about here, but related, that we had, was it 5 people sign up for baptisms?
At least. Yeah.
At least 5 today. So that's neat too. So thank you for everybody that signed up for those. That's good. That's what being part of the family is all about. Speaking about being part of a family, maybe before we dive into our highlights, because we're not going to share everything because we don't want to spoil it for everyone. Just a couple things.
No.
Maybe explain to people what's different about this document.
Yeah. I don't know if I can show it on my screen if you happen to be watching, but it looks different. So normally it's been kind of bigger, just kind of a bunch of pages stapled together. It's going to be a little bit more of a booklet format this year. Lots of pictures, so less graphics, lots of pictures of actual events that people at Gateway took part in. And then in the past, it's been organized more by ministry. So we would have our worship page, our connect page, our serve page, our go page. So this year, instead, it is organized more by those characteristics that we all want to be growing in as disciples. So we've got our Word and Spirit Christians page, our generous, our family, disciples who make disciples, and our kingdom-minded page. So it's kind of neat to see the ministry just split up in those categories as opposed to just departmental.
Yeah, and what you were talking about is that in this one, compared to previous, other than like my opening sort of welcome letter, it's going to be a lot less texty. So not like typed out stories. You're going to see stories through pictures, and then more bullet point kind of statistics, things to jump out at you of some successes from this past year. So again, Laura and I, this may not be a super long episode. We're gonna go through one, maybe two highlights from each of these categories that stuck out to us. Maybe if there's a memory or something that's associated with it. Oh, look at that. If you give the thumbs up, did you see that? I had a thumbs up on my thing. There it is.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's
Mine
Apple.
doesn't do it.
I would think that I don't know why it did it to me. And I think that if you do something else, it'll do balloons. That's Apple doing that update. I didn't even realize I was doing it. And a thumbs up. So if you only listen to this, you're getting only like 25%.
You're missing out. You need to switch to YouTube.
All right. So Word and Spirit Christians. I'm more of a traditionalist. We'll let ladies go first, Laura.
Okay. Well, I told you on the front end, I starred at least 2 things on each page. So if you took one of mine, I'd have another one. So now I have to actually pick which one. But I'm going to pick the 25 students on the youth worship team, because that is an area with bringing Hannah Otley on our youth staff this past year. It's just an area that she's gifted musically in a way that has really allowed that part of our youth ministry to start to grow and to flourish. So she's leading a youth worship team. And I'm not really sure. I probably should know if they lead worship every Sunday night for life groups, or I'm not sure how often they do that. But anyways, that's really exciting. 25 students. And I think they may even just continually be bringing on more as they're interested and they audition and things. So that's really exciting to me.
And so for the listener, that's, maybe a middle school drummer being part of the band, a high school keyboardist, and they're in bands today, and includes probably tech as well. I know Caleb was here, my son, doing tech, and because Alice is now on keyboard and I think singing. And so
Awesome.
they were here at 3:15 this afternoon for youth group tonight. So they will be leading worship tonight. Something a little bit personal to me, and we'll see what your next one is. But for me, I wanted to highlight the 21 Men in Prayer volunteers. Many people may not know there's a picture in here that there's a group of guys, and this has been going on at Gateway long before I was here. It may go back to Nordcrest days for all I know.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, it has to, because one of the guys have been doing it since like 1995 or something. They told me one time. Wow. Terry McDougall. Yeah, they've been doing it for a long time. But they meet with me before the service and pray with me. And most weeks it's before both services. Kevin Dills, great guy here. He leads that. He schedules the guys, and he is so faithful that if he doesn't get a RSVP that they're going to be here, he will come in and make sure that that he's here to pray with me. And so if you didn't know that was happening before the services, before I preach each week, or whoever's preaching, it's a really kind of behind the scenes way that people are serving, and it's really good. I remember there's a story of Charles Spurgeon that somebody came to visit him once to sort of figure out why was his ministry so successful in London. And he basically said, you need to go down to the church basement. And there were people that would pray during the service for him while he preached, and to not miss that's going on. Did you want to share what your other one was from Word and Spirit?
My other one was 143 people who participated in corporate Bible reading plans. So that was something else that we just tried, did a little soft launch. We didn't even make announcements and stuff about it. I think back in October. Matt Heft did a plan in October. You did one in November. And then we did a little bit bigger push for the Advent plan, but just having different elders lead those. So it was just neat to see how many different people participated, and some only in one plan, some in both, or actually all three. I guess we're 3 plans. So yeah. I
would love for us to, we used to say break the internet, that YouVersion Bible app right now only maxes out at 150.
Yeah.
And so just personally, I would love to max it out a few times so that they've got to figure out the glitch in the system that keeps it at 150. But so yeah, seven more people on a plan, and we've maxed it out. You want to move on to generous?
Yeah, I'll let you go first this time though, since got to do 2 in the last one.
Um, yeah, I marked two here. I'll share this one. The 928 families fed during the 5 Schopenhall mobile food pantries that we hosted. Just really incredible to think that um, really we're a place that houses it, and our volunteers. If you've never served there, one, it's almost impossible to ever get signed up to serve for it because
Mhm.
it's like before you even say we to get like we need volunteers, it's like they're all taken.
Yeah.
But my family did one of those, and it's organized, like it's all set up and ready to go, and people are coming through, and depending on if they're coming into the building or if they're just driving through, however it's being handed out. But
Mhm.
that's a lot of families being impacted with basic needs, food being taken care of. And so really proud of you, Gateway, for making that happen.
Yep. I had just highlighted just our overall giving in 2023 was amazing to me. So $3,350,000. So obviously that's a rounded number. That's not exact, but it exceeded what we needed to meet our budget. It exceeded what we had projected for the year and everything. So I know that we literally say it every single Sunday. We are always thanking people for faithful and generous giving, but um, that is just evidence of it to me right there. So,
And last week, was I in Orlando last week? No, the week
no.
before. Week before that, this is not the case for all ministries nor all churches. So like there could be parachurch ministries
Mhm.
as well, but I know that at least two of the pastors mentioned it. One church was like 12% behind in expenses,
Mhm.
giving towards even expenses.
Mhm.
And so that's a very tough place to be as a church, because then you're looking at cutting back and making serious cuts. And so thank you. Thank you, Lord, for your generosity to us and
Mhm.
calling us to be good stewards. I will highlight one more, the 42 Bibles given to first graders. I love that part. What I
Mhm.
love this year, I think it was the first year we got the elders involved in that. I know Terry Jolliffe was over here at County Road 9
Yeah.
and getting our elders involved in that special moment, because that's like a coming of age and to
Mhm.
first grade of getting their Bibles here. And so that was really neat. And
Yeah, they also included Sew Quilt Share this year. The ladies of that sewing group
oh
made
yeah,
little
made the little
bags.
for the Bibles. Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
and I teach first grade Kidway every other week, and so it is just really fun to see the kids bring their Bibles in their little bags, and um, so thank you to those ladies as well for doing that.
All right, so we've done word and spirit Christians, we've done generous, on to family. What
Family.
stuck out to you there, Laura?
Yeah, there was a lot of things on this page that I love, but I will highlight that we had 9 instances where on a mission trip there was more than one person from the same family on the trip, so it might have been a mom and a child, might have been siblings together on the trip. We did have a youth mission trip, which probably helped that statistic
Yeah.
because there are a lot of parents chaperone that and a lot of siblings would be there. But regardless, I think that is really neat when families can go on those trips and have those experiences together. I love to see that.
And I know that some families have used Kentucky
Hmm.
as a travel wise not as difficult to get to, and they'll take their kids on that
Yep.
one. That one's great. The 6 youth who did announcements, I'll highlight that because one of
Mhm.
those youth was my son Caleb, and so that was fun. I've probably never been more nervous backstage than when he's out there and like he's all on his own and I'm right here. And yeah, I was probably more nervous for that than anytime I've ever spoken on stage. And so um that was a fun experience. If I could highlight one more from this one, Laura, and maybe I
Sure.
can let you highlight the other one. The Gateway Stories podcast,
Yeah.
we've talked about this many times. And Sean, if you happen to listen to this, you're doing a great job with that. A seedling of an idea from must have been a little over a year ago at this time, and the communication of the vision for it was probably so poor. I basically said, "Hey, Sean, like when you're listening to like NPR and you hear them tell a story about a farmer whose dad farmed the land, whose grandpa farmed the land, whose great grandpa farmed the land." There, I'm giving a thumbs up again. And you think, how are you going to get a story out of this? And then, like, for 30 minutes, you're just
Yeah.
captured by this story that they figured out how to tell. I said, people at Gateway have stories. Go tell them. And I mean, it was as poorly communicated as that, and he's done a great job. And I just love the people that have been on. Every single one of them thinks they don't have a story, and they all have a story. So if you happen to get asked by Sean, say yes, because we want to hear your story. Did you want to say anything about that? I saw that your face lit up when I mentioned that one.
No, we just have highlighted several of the same things. So
Yeah. Well, we are like
that tends to happen.
yeah. All right. How about disciples who make disciples, Laura?
Yeah, I've got quite a few marked on this one too. I am going to pick. I'm going to do two, if that's okay.
Go right ahead.
Okay. We had 4 equipped class facilitators that led for the first time. And so that doesn't maybe sound overwhelming, but sometimes it's actually really difficult to find people who are willing to facilitate those classes. And I'm not sure if it's, people don't feel equipped or it's maybe intimidating is what I'm trying to say. It can be intimidating to be the teacher of a class. And so to have 4 people step out and do that for the first time was encouraging. And then we also have 10 people from Gateway who served as Covenant Connect partners with University of Findlay students. And that really is just kind of a discipleship mentoring sort of a program, if people aren't familiar with what that is. You and I both did that last year.
Yep.
And I've continued meeting with my student this year when she came back in the fall. And so it just really is, I think a lot of times I am more blessed by doing that than she probably is meeting with me. And so it's just neat to see 10 people from our congregation stepping out and investing in the next generation of Christian leaders that way.
Yeah, I won't share the number. I'll just talk about the believers' baptisms. Laura, that last week I shared in my weekly email to the staff and the elders some statistics that we were shared with in Orlando. And at the end of it, some things that I learned is that on any given Sunday, Gateway represents about 1% of anybody who is in an EPC church on a Sunday. And so there's 650-ish churches, and 1% of anybody in attendance is at Gateway. But what I share that because what was more exciting to me, because it's about baptism, is that in last year, we represented 3% of all baptisms in the denomination, as far as believers' baptisms go. And that part of it is maybe a little depressing that there aren't as many people just in the United States coming to faith as there once was. But you just never know, like, where do you stand as a local congregation? And, as Paul says, God causes the growth, not us. We plant the seeds, we water, but he causes the growth. And so it was just exciting for me, who doesn't feel very much like an evangelist. And so to see the Lord still being faithful and generous to us when it comes to people coming to faith and people coming to new life and through the ministry here. So that was exciting to me to just learn over the past few weeks. And so you'll learn more about those statistics under Disciples Who Makes Disciples. And then last one is Kingdom Minded. I'll go first. I don't know if you say you got a few more, and I'm highlighting this one because on Thursday, I got 2 emails, both from our college partners, asking me on the same day, "Hey, can you come speak?" And so I'm not speaking on the same day. I just happened to get emails inviting me to speak. And so the 10 people spoke at Campus Ministry, that's our UF partnership, or Campus Outreach, which is our BGSU partnership events last year. And so those are always exciting for me. In fact, Luke, who is on staff, oversees our college partnerships. He and his fiancee Alyssa were over at our house for lunch today. And so we were, I've got one in college, one going to college next year to UF, and sort of talking about it. And so hopefully my future UF student will go with me while I speak at Revive to see what it's like, get them plugged in there. And then I'm not sure what's going to happen at BGSU, but what Lincoln has suggested is the students really like when I just let them ask questions. The whole Q&A kind of environment they just really enjoy. And so I got both those coming up March and April. So that's what I highlight. What about you on Kingdom Minded?
I will highlight the 16% of our budget is invested, or was last year invested, in local, regional, and international ministry. So this is basically our GO ministry, is 16% of our budget. So that's exciting to me. I know a lot of churches, I would say, well, I don't even know if it's most, a lot aim for 10% the tithe, and so we're committed to never going below that, but 16% is quite a bit above 10%. So that's exciting.
Yep. And then there's a final page that is just more fun facts, stuff thrown on there. You'll see a lot of stuff about donuts, pounds of coffee, some of that stuff. But on here, one that if you're a youth listening to this that I would share is that 31 of our youth life group students were new to Gateway. And at that age group, that's because one of their friends invited them. And so good on you, middle and high school students, inviting your friends to come to church. Laura, you've read a book. I'm reading it right now about sort of what's going on with faith in America. And still, the friend inviting, doesn't matter the age, adult, teen, whatever, the friend inviting their friend to church, people are open to it and people will respond to it in a positive way. And so thank you, students, because, based on the numbers, that's somewhere probably around 30% of an average night of students right there being new students who came. And so that's a great percentage of inviting your friends to come. So thank you, students, for doing that. What about you on the fun facts?
I feel like I'm doing a lot of financial facts, but this one, maybe it's not so exciting. It's kind of behind the scenes, but we have an incredible facilities manager in Jared McBride. And this year he went out and he found some grants, and we've been able to do $270,000 worth of upgrades in security, and we've got little key fobs to help us get in the building now. So some safety and security updates we were able to do because of those grants. So
we've got an app on our phone that can unlock doors if you're not here. You can, it's really really incredible what he's done. And it's not just the key fobs. There's new fire alarms now on the system. I did ask one of the guys, because they've been here now probably a month.
They've been here a couple months.
Yeah. And I said, when you started your career, did you ever think I should measure out how much of this wire I do over my career? Because I would love to know, like, how many times around the world you've laid out wire. Because just here alone, the amount of wires that they've put up in the ceiling, it's a lot of what they're doing just to make this place more safe, more secure. Yeah. So hats off to you, Jared McBride, who was the very first Stories podcast episode.
Indeed.
Because he was basically here from the womb, almost.
Almost.
Yeah. So that is all we're going to highlight. You'll get this in your hands. I'm frozen, Laura.
You've been I was a little concerned I was going to have to finish out the episode, but
well,
we can still hear you.
Since you can't see me.
Oh, now you're not frozen.
Oh, there you go. I just had to get up and touch it. I don't know what happened. Maybe a text message came in. I'm using my phone. So you'll get this in your hands in a couple of weeks. And we are switching up episodes. So the next one is going to be on marijuana now that it's legal.
Yeah.
in our state. We're going to talk about the Elder's Position Paper, which admittedly has some updates that need to be made in it because when it was originally written, it was not legal. And so, but we're still going to go through it just for some basic wisdom and guidance from the Bible on what to think about that. And then we'll do a sermon review the week after that. Anything else, Laura?
That's it for me.
All right. Well, thanks for listening in, guys. God bless.